Hey guys, welcome to my newest video for today. For today's video I'm going to be doing my Spring 2020 reading wrap-up, since I've decided that I'm going to be doing my reading wrap-ups via seasons now, just because I don't really tend to read as much as I used to, so I don't think it really warrants doing monthly reading wrap-up. So I'll just cover all the books that I read like throughout the 3 months. So, and then I'll still keep doing my what I've been reading, comics and graphic novels. They'll be in their separate videos. So for the past 3 months I ended up reading 6 books. So in September I read 2 books, October I read 1 book, and then I read 3 books in November. So yeah, hasn't been too bad of a reading month, since my reading this year has been all over the place. So I was actually able to get to some books that I've had on my TBR for a while, so I was actually pretty happy about that. But in September the books that I read were The Alice Network. So this is by Kate Quinn, and it's a historical fiction with dual timelines from World War I and post-World War II. So I thought that was quite an interesting timeline wise, and yeah, and then they all sort of intersect and with the main characters, and yeah, I thought it was actually quite an interesting story, and I'm definitely interested in reading more from Kate Quinn now. So she has a few different historical fiction books out. I ended up giving The Alice Network 4 out of 5 stars. And then the other book I read in September was actually a reread. I reread Mockingjay because I've been rereading The Hunger Games to finally read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So yeah, I think I might be in the minority, but I actually really love Mockingjay, like how it actually all wrapped up, and it took a couple of reads before I actually began to appreciate Mockingjay as the finale to the series, because before I didn't really care for it that much, but then I reread it, and then yeah, I loved it a whole lot more on rewatch, so not rewatch, reread. So yeah, Mockingjay gets a 5 out of 5 stars for me. Like the original Hunger Games trilogy is like a whole 5 out of 5 stars, so that's that one. And then the only book that I actually got to in October that I finished was Alexander Hamilton by Ron Chernow. I've been wanting to read this book for a while because I love the musical Hamilton. I'm seeing it in March in Sydney, and I wanted to read the book that inspired the musical, and I found it quite fascinating, because I always find American history, like the around this time period, to be quite fascinating, with the the revolution and everything. And yeah, I thought it was like the whole history part, like in Alexander's role in that, was quite fascinating, because I didn't really know a whole lot going in, but yeah, I actually found it quite interesting, and I'm glad I actually did read it. So I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars. And then the last few books that I read, I finally got to Children of Blood and Bone, which is by Tomi Adeyemi, and because I've had this one for a couple of years, but I was like, you know what, I'm finally going to sit down and read this one, because I think I did start it in October for the intention of it being like a dark fantasy story to sort of fit in with like the horror / thriller thing, but I didn't finish it until November. So, but overall I did actually quite enjoy it. I thought it was a very interesting fantasy. It was a different setting. I liked the African inspired setting, and yeah, and based on the ending, I am definitely interested in continuing on with this series to see where the story goes, because yeah, that ending was definitely quite interesting. So yeah, I want to sort of see what the fallout from that one will be. So I hopefully at some point I will pick up Children of Virtue and Vengeance. I think that's what the sequel's called. So that one. And then sort of going back to the Hunger Games theme, I also finally got to The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, of course by Suzanne Collins. I know this has been very mixed in its how well it's been received, but I actually quite liked it. Not as much as the original Hunger Games trilogy, but I did find it interesting learning more about President Snow and sort of how he got to be the man he was that we see in Katniss's time, and yeah, sort of seeing the beginnings of the Hunger Games that we also know in the first book. So I sort of thought that history was quite interesting and how it sort of, I guess, became full circle from that. But I quite like this one. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, so like I'd probably also reread it, like so I do tend to reread the Hunger Games trilogy every couple of years, so I'll probably reread it in a couple of years. So that one. And then the last book that I finished reading was Opposite of Always by Justin A. Reynolds. So this one I was sort of interested in reading because it's like a Groundhog Day-esque story where the character relives time, like so many like a specific time over and over again. And I thought this one was also quite well done because it's we sort of follow these two characters, and it's, yeah, basically it gets to a certain point and then he ends up reliving like the whole months that he knows this girl over and over, and then he has to try and save her, and yeah, and then he's also working through these relationships with his family and his friends, and it just gets complicated. And yeah, we sort of see sort of a glimpse of each of these attempts that he tries to actually fix it. And yeah, I really like this one, so I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. So overall, like, the books that I read were actually like pretty good quality. I didn't read as much, but this was a case of definitely quality over quantity, so I'm very happy with the books I finally got to on my TBR. And yeah, so that is everything that I managed to read in September, October and November. So I'll be doing a wrap up at the end of February for my next lot of reads. So yeah, I'm just going to stop it here. So until my next video, I will see you guys next time. Bye!